Welcome to episode 34 of the Wholistic Me podcast, a journey to finding wellness within. Today, we're continuing the conversation on brain fog and tackling it with some acupressure points. Welcome back. It's Wellness Wednesday today, and today we are tackling brain fog and fatigue using acupressure points. If you missed it, go back and check out episode 30 where I talked about brain fog, why we have it, and some things that we can do to combat brain fog using nutritional shifts and lifestyle behaviors. All right, so let's get right to it. I actually pulled some points, some acupressure point cards directly from my very own deck, Wellness Within, the Anxiety and Stress Edition. I'll make sure to link that in the description and show notes. This is it right here. So you can get your own copy. Use this to create your own self-care routine. I have several videos now where I have shared what that looks like, several episodes. So you can check those out. I'll make sure to link some of those as well. So we're gonna get right to it and do our first point. And the first point we're doing is stomach 36. All right, so hopefully you can see that in the frame here. This is located just below the knee. All right, if you have this deck, all the information is on the back of the card, and you can find this 4 fingers width below the eyes of the knee, which I'll show you and describe what that is, and 1 finger's width away from the outer ridge of the tibia or shin bone. All right, so this is what it looks like. Find the eyes of the knee, which is right below the patella on either side of the tendon here. You're gonna place your index finger right below that spot. And wherever your pinky, right, the 4th finger in this group of fingers here, lines up, just under that is where you're going to bring your other index finger, and usually you can either measure it this way, you running vertically up and down along the outer ridge, and then find that where that spot is 1 finger's width away. But what you can do too is just take the crease just before the tip of your finger and align it over the top of the shin bone and roll your fingertip onto the spot. All right, and that's just below that pinky. And you can either use the tip of your finger to press. I have slightly longer nails, so that's not comfortable for me, but I will use the back of the knuckle on my thumb. Okay, and I will use that to press onto the area, or in this case, with my tool, I can use the larger rounded end on this point. All right, and you can just press and hold. You can do circular motion, a little bit of massage, or tapping on the point as well. In this case right now though, we're just going to press and hold. And for the purposes of this episode and this video, I'm really only going to show you the points done on one side, but I want you to go back and do it again on the other side, or just pause it before I go to the next point and repeat on the opposite side to make sure you address both sides of your body. We want to do left and right points here. Okay, it is okay though if you only have time to do one side and come back to it later and do the other. That's perfectly fine too, but at some point in your day you want to keep it balanced. Do both. All right, so we do that for about 1 to 2 minutes, and then we move on. The next point we're going to do is kidney 1, and if you can see that on the camera here, it is located right below the ball of the foot. All right, and it is on the sole of the foot in the depression formed when the toes are pointed down, approximately 1/3 of the distance from the base of the second toe to the end of the heel. So if you were to break up your foot into thirds, just below your toe line, then you can measure out where that would be, but you can just simply see on this image here, it's right below the ball of the foot where that crease would form when you point your toes. And in line with the second toe. So we're aiming for right here. I'm gonna bring my foot back down, and in this case, I'm just simply going to use my fingers to pinch and hold the points. Okay, so I've got my thumb on the upper portion of my foot, just opposite the point on the other side, and my index finger pressing into the point on the sole of the foot. All right, so that is kidney 1. And let me just share here, let me go back to stomach 36 for just a second while I hold this point and describe to you some of the uses for this point. Now, stomach 36 is an excellent point for digestion, and if you listen to episode 30 on brain fog, I talk about the importance that our digestive system plays in this brain fog that we may experience, right? This cloudy headedness, inability to think clearly is directly linked to our digestive systems and the food that we put into our body. So this is an excellent point to address any digestive concerns. It's also a wonderful point for helping to clear the mind and the heart, okay? And really helpful in supporting your immune system as well. So right now, if nothing else, do stomach 36, all right? Now, kidney 1 is a wonderful point because it's very grounding. Okay? It has many, many wonderful benefits, especially if you're having trouble sleeping at night, massaging the bottom of the feet, especially around this point, is very helpful. But it's grounding. It's such a wonderful grounding point because if you've got so many things going on in your head, right, and it makes it hard to think clearly on top of having some of that foggy experience, then you're going to just not be able to process what you're thinking about in an effective way. So when we ground, we bring that energy down, okay? And one thing I want to make sure I mention is while you're doing this, make sure you are breathing. All right, breathe. Deep breathing is very helpful in facilitating this work. So this next point that we're going to do is also on the foot, and I won't be able to show you this one, but you can see it right on the picture. This point is called Ba Fong, okay? Ba Fong is a series of 4 points on the top of the foot, just above where the webbing meets the top of the foot. So there are 4, 1 point in between each toe, and so we want to do all of these. So one little trick that you can do more of them simultaneously is to use your fingers to press on either side and work your way in. So essentially having one finger between the little toe and the 4th toe, and another finger pressing between the large toe and the 2nd toe, and hold there for 1 to 2 minutes or as desired, and then work your way into the middle 2 points, okay? So you can double up on the number of points that you're doing and do it a little bit faster, or you can just do one at a time. All right, and if you want to do both sides simultaneously, I didn't mention this, but you can do this for stomach 36. If you sit with both knees up in front, you can press both points, all right, if you're using your hands. If you want to do kidney 1 seated, whether on the floor or the couch, and you want to be in a butterfly position or cross-legged, you can press both points on the soles of the feet at the same time, okay? You don't have to do this one side at a time necessarily, all right? It's just a matter of what's comfortable for you. And so if you wanted to do 1 point at a time on each foot, you could place both feet flat in front of you and press the same, start on the outside and work your way in, or start on the inside and work your way out, whatever you prefer. You can do it that way as well. Either way, you're doing it the same amount of times. So the other option is to use a tool, and in this case, you would just be doing 1 point at a time across all the 4 points on each foot. All right, so in this scenario for my tool, I would want to use the smaller rounded edge because it is a smaller surface area compared to stomach 36 below the knee. So I like to use the tool, gives my hands a break. I use my hands all the time. So I am a fan of using the tool, and what I like to do when I use the tool is actually just spend about 10-15 seconds on each point and kind of repeat around. So I'll do all 4 points for about 10 seconds each, more or less, and then start back where I started for that same foot and do it 2 or 3 times depending on how long I spent on each point. You can do that as well. And Bafang is also a very grounding point. It's wonderful for overthinking, right? And overthinking in and of itself, when we over worry, okay, when we spend our day thinking about so many things and we never shut our brain down, this actually will also lead to brain fog because it is tied to our spleen stomach energy and therefore will cause a weakening of that system energetically. Okay, so when we do this overthinking all the time, it's actually taxing us and kind of working against us, because then it's creating more brain fog, which causes you to need to think about things more because you're not thinking clearly. It's a whole cycle. So we want to break that. So this is a wonderful point for treating overthinking, getting out of your head, grounding down. I hope you're finding this helpful. And if you are, don't forget to give this a thumbs up. Share it with a loved one that could use some tackling of brain fog and fatigue. And I say brain fog and fatigue because often that's just comes hand in hand with each other, right? When we're experiencing brain fog, we're also feeling the sense of tiredness and fatigue. We don't have enough energy for our day. So we want to tackle the brain fog, which therefore will tackle the fatigue that we are experiencing. All right, so we're at our last point of this little series here, and this is GV20. Right, it's located right at the top center of the head, and if you take your ear and fold it forward gently, you will see that it forms a tip here, and you can follow that. That is the apex of your ear. You can follow that to the top in line with your center line, and that is where you will find the point. Now, my favorite way of pressing and holding this point is using the back of my thumb, the knuckle here, and pressing down into that. Now, I will warn you that this point is often sensitive. It's sensitive for me right now, just slightly. And so it is perfectly normal to have sensitivity on any of these acupressure or acupuncture points, okay? But as we continue to work on ourselves and make changes and see the patterns or concerns sort of dissipate, in this case brain fog, then some of that sensitivity will start to decrease and go away. Okay, so you can use the back of the knuckle here or the knuckle on your thumb if you prefer pressing and holding. If that is too much, you can use the tips of your fingers to tap on the point, and you can just tap in this way with the 2 fingers. Or you can use all 4 fingers on each hand and tap all around the head, focusing on that center line, okay? This is really, really beneficial. And one thing that's really interesting with this point, it does open and clear the mind, right? And when I use this point with my patients in an acupuncture session, many of them describe the sensation of feeling like I've popped a cork or letting the pressure out of their heads. Imagine that fog just lifting up and away from your head and experiencing some clarity, okay? So all of these points together are going to help do that. And there are certainly other acupuncture points that are helpful in treating brain fog, okay, and clearing brain fog. That is for sure. But these are, I wanted to get kind of to some very basic points that will help anybody that is experiencing brain fog at this time. And so you can start to chip away and focus in on these points and lift away that fog for yourself. Now, I will be doing some more in-depth or more narrow focus videos in the future, taking brain fog and maybe adding in, if you're experiencing brain fog, with something else in conjunction with it, and kind of narrowing down some of the points and things that you can be doing to address that as well. But I will let you all lead me in that direction by commenting below what your experience typically when you have brain fog. Are you having just brain fog and fatigue like we've addressed today? Do these points. Are you having brain fog and headaches? Let's talk about that. All right, so let me know just one additional thing that you experience in conjunction with your brain fog, and I will get to it in a future video or episode post. All right, and I will make sure to link this deck. So for those of you that are interested, if you don't already have your own copy, you can create your own self-care routines just like this. I have several videos, as I mentioned before. I'll make sure to link those as well, where you can see the breakdown of how to create your own little self-care routine, whether it's just with one card for that day or several cards. All right, and I'll make sure to link episode 30 for you to go check out that brain fog episode if you haven't already. Thank you so much for being here for Wellness Wednesday. I truly appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time to take care of you, to take another step forward on your wellness journey. You're doing it. Keep it up. Until next time, my friends, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Stay well.